Hey, hello, my friend. I pray that this finds you well from wherever and whenever you are tuning in. So, my dad, Mr. Julius Kamuru Mwangi, was called home, was promoted to glory this past Saturday. And above all, I am at peace. God is giving me peace that transcends understanding. And just as importantly, I am really thankful. Really thankful for the amazing father that dad was to me and my brothers, the amazing blessing he was to our family, to our friends, and everybody that he got to meet. I am grateful for the 72 plus years that I got to be with him. I am just as grateful because of the way God was with him and with us, even in these last stretch of his journey. We have seen God's grace, we have seen God's providence. I am grateful to know that dad is in the presence of the Lord, hearing those words that we all long for. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. And I'm just as grateful to know that God, who has been with us, is with us and will be with us in the next season. And you know what else I'm grateful for? I'm grateful for you, our family and friends that have walked this journey with us. Listen, I've been a Christian 30 years this December. I have never seen God. But I don't need to, because I see him through the people that he uses to love on us, to send a word of encouragement, to lift us up in prayer. So there's been such an overwhelming show of support from all of you, and from the bottom of my heart, and I know I speak for the rest of my family, thank you. Thank you for being God's hands and feet to our family. And so, beginning today and for the next 7 days, I want to give a tribute to my dad. So, Barack Obama wrote a book called Dreams of My Father. In my jazz studies, I came across this guy called Horace Mann, who wrote a jazz album called Songs of My Father. And so for the next 7 days, allow me to do a series called Gifts from My Father. Gifts from My Father, a tribute to Julius Kamuru Mwangi. And what I hope to share with you is just the literal gifts I received from my dad. The lessons that I learned and the incredible impact that he had on my life, as I know he had on many others, and hopefully give you a behind the scenes look at this man that I feel that the whole world should have met, because the world was better because he walked in it. And maybe as I share my story, hopefully you will get a thought or two that adds value to your story. And so the topic for today is nurture and nature. Thinking of the gifts I received from my dad, Julius Kamuru, today I want to talk about nurture and nature. Let's begin with nurture. So I was born in Kenya, East Africa, and I was born without my right hand and without my right foot. Now, I was born at a time where the culture and society, by and large, did not look very kindly at people born with handicaps. The superstition of the day held that if a child was born with a handicap, they were cursed. Or somebody was cursed. Somebody must have done something wrong. And in worst case scenarios, babies born with physical handicaps or handicaps of sorts were abandoned. Those who didn't face that plight were often ostracized and hidden from society. I know a family that didn't take out their child in public because of the shame and stigma that came with that. And then for those that survived the plight of the first two, they were relegated to a life of poverty and begging, like they were not invested in. My story is different because of Julius and Eunice Kamuru. My mom tells me that when my dad first held me in his hands when I was first born, he smiled and said, what a handsome little boy. And so allow me to stop right there and say, one of the nature, I guess, that I got from my dad, one of the genes that I got is good looks. Hey, no matter what you think, dad said I'm a handsome little boy. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And at this point, allow me to say I was a day old. Obviously, I didn't hear or understand what dad said, but at some level, subconsciously, that message must have gotten into me, right? And in a world where we often base our identities on what other people say about us, good or bad, I want to maybe just remind you that our Heavenly Father, just like my dad, thinks you're amazing. Psalms 39 says that you and I are fearfully and wonderfully made. And so I pray that the same way what my dad, my earthly dad, and obviously my Heavenly Father say about me, that's my story and that's what I run with. I want to encourage you. Take what the Heavenly Father says about you. Let that be your story. No ifs, buts, and ends, right? But anyway, I share that to sensitize you to just how loving, how generous, how kind both my dad and mom are. Dad and mom never treated me any differently. They made sure I had everything I needed in way of medical supplies, such as prosthesis devices. They spared no coin to make sure I got the best education. And not just me, same for my brothers. Like, they did everything to make sure that we were provided for and that we had the best shot in life. Dad and mom nurtured us to the best of their abilities. And not just us, like both dad and mom are the oldest in their families. Well, dad is the oldest boy, the oldest son. He was second. And so my mom is the oldest, period, in her family. And so both of them were leaders in their family. And many, even in their own families, looked up to them for nurture. Many outside of our family found solace, in the hearts of mom and dad. Mom and dad together had hearts so big that accommodated so many people. And I know that many, many lives, not just my life and that of my brothers, many, many lives have been positively impacted through the life of Julius and Eunice Kamuru. Well, that's nature, right? Let me talk a little bit about nature. I got more than good looks from my dad. My dad, I think of myself as a very positive person. But my dad is the OG. Like, my dad's positivity was at a whole other level. Dad always saw possibility. He always saw the potential and nurtured and encouraged the potential in others. To dad, no problem was too big. Yesterday we were on a call with my brothers and with our families, and we were just laughing. The way, if you told dad of any ailment, yes, he would, condole with you and show you empathy, but, he would also show you how God is bigger and you are bigger than the obstacle you are facing. Like, if we're making a joke and saying you might have had a bout of malaria, and dad would say, you're truly Homer, you'll be okay. In other words, that's just a cold, you're going to be fine. Like, even in his own struggles, even in his own pain, like even with the visits, the last visits to the hospital that he had, and which literally saved his life. It was really because my youngest brother, who's a medical doctor, put his foot on the ground and said, Dad, you're going to the hospital. Dad, we are calling an ambulance. You're being evacuated. Like, he never wanted to be a burden on anybody. And to him, there was no problem that was too big that God could not fix, number one. And that number two, he didn't believe that you and I had the capacity to overcome. My dad was the epitome of positivity, of faith, and belief in possibility. And I think I got some of that from him. I got many other wonderful traits from my dad, but allow me to leave you with one final thought. So when I got married back in 2007, I reached out to my dad and told him, hey, we're going to have some wedding favors. Those are the little gifts that you put on the table for your guests.